The wedding invitation arrived in an envelope thick enough to double as armor, addressed to Miss Alexandra Chen Guest. The gold-embossed lettering practically dripped with Victoria's signature condescension. "The Crystal Palace," I murmured, running my fingers over the venue's name. My company had quietly acquired it 3 months ago, along with half the luxury properties in the city. Not that my family had noticed. They were too busy planning Victoria's wedding of the century. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. "Vicky needs help with parking arrangements. Perfect for you since you're not busy with that little real estate thing." That little real estate thing was Chen Global Properties, now the largest luxury venue operator on the East Coast. But they still saw me as the quiet daughter who'd skipped law school to play with buildings. Another text from Victoria. "Darling, weddings at 4. Come at 1 to help coordinate valet parking. You know, something manageable for you." I glanced at the morning's acquisition reports. The Crystal Palace's value had tripled under our management. The renovation plans on my desk would transform it into the city's premier event venue. "Tell the board I'll be late," I informed my assistant. "Family obligation." The Tokyo investors call. "Reschedule. My sister needs help parking cars." The irony wasn't lost on me. Victoria, the brilliant lawyer, planning her society wedding in a building I owned. Having her unsuccessful sister manage the parking at a venue that generated more monthly revenue than her firm's annual billings. Mom called. "Alexandra, darling, you'll help, won't you? Vicky's so stressed about making everything perfect." "Of course," I replied, signing off on another $1 million renovation. Wouldn't want to disappoint my successful sister. The Crystal Palace's manager had been texting nervously all morning. "Miss Chen, should we inform your family?" "No," I responded. "Let's keep this our little secret. For now." Victoria's final text arrived as I gathered my things. "Wear something appropriate for parking duty. And try not to embarrass me. This is my special day." I smiled, tucking the venue's ownership papers into my bag. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold. It's valet parked. I slipped into my appropriate outfit, a tailored Chanel suit that cost more than Victoria's law school tuition. The little real estate thing had its perks, even if my family remained willfully blind to them. My phone lit up with a calendar alert. Crystal Palace Executive Review, 2 p.m. Right in the middle of my parking duty. "Perfect. Your sister's wedding planner is calling again," my assistant notified me. "She's panicking about the last-minute venue changes you approved." "The gold leaf on the grand staircase?" I smiled. "Consider it my wedding gift." Mom's voice filled my car's speakers through another call. "Alexandra, please don't be late. And do something with your hair. The valet staff needs to look presentable." I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror of my Bentley. The same model Victoria's fiancé had bragged about ordering, not knowing I had 3. The irony of parking cars worth more than their combined salaries wasn't lost on me. The Crystal Palace loomed ahead, its newly renovated facade gleaming in the morning sun. My renovation team had worked miracles, transforming the tired venue into a masterpiece. Victoria had gushed about the changes, never questioning who was behind them. "The contractors need final approval on the fountain installation," my assistant chimed in. "Tell them to proceed," I replied, pulling into my private parking space, the one Victoria's planner had tried to reserve for the bride. "Let's make sure my sister's special day really shines." As I stepped out, the venue manager rushed forward, panic in his eyes. "Miss Chen, your family is already here and your sister is asking about the owner's suite." "Give it to her," I winked. "After all, it's her special day." The manager's face twitched with suppressed amusement. We both knew whose name was on the deed to that suite, and every other square inch of the building. Time to park some cars. The Crystal Palace's grand entrance was a flurry of activity as I arrived. Wedding planners scurried about with clipboards, florists arranged $1,000 bouquets, and Victoria stood in the center of it all, directing her troops like a general going to war. "Finally," she exclaimed, spotting me. "The valet team is short-staffed. You'll need to actually park cars, not just coordinate." "Of course," I replied, watching a contractor discreetly motion for my approval on the new crystal chandelier installation, my latest $1 million wedding gift, that Victoria assumed came with the venue. Mom swooped in, designer dress rustling. Alexandra darling, your hair. Well, at least you're on time. The parking situation is crucial. Victoria's fiancé's law partners are attending. The same partners who rejected my development proposal last year? I asked innocently, signing off on another venue upgrade behind my sister's back. They know real estate, dear. Mom patted my arm. They could tell it wasn't viable. Those experts had called my luxury venue concept unrealistic. Now they were about to attend a wedding in one of my properties, completely unaware that their rejection had motivated me to build my empire without their help. The owner's suite is perfect. Victoria gushed, returning from her inspection. Though I don't know why they upgraded everything just before my wedding. Lucky timing, I murmured, catching the manager's suppressed smile. My phone buzzed. The Tokyo investors were confirming our latest acquisition, another landmark property in Victoria's preferred neighborhood. Soon, her dream apartment building would join my portfolio. Alexandra, the cars are arriving. Victoria's voice snapped with authority. Try not to scratch anything expensive. Jeffrey's colleagues drive Mercedes. I'll be careful, I promised, thinking of my private car collection that could buy her fiancé's entire law firm. The first wave of guests arrived and I played my part perfectly. Each luxury car I parked was worth less than my daily property revenue, but Victoria beamed with satisfaction seeing her struggling sister doing something manageable. Your sister's good at this, I overheard one of Jeffrey's partners tell Victoria. Maybe we could use her at the firm's events. She needs the experience, Victoria agreed magnanimously. Her real estate dreams haven't quite materialized. Just then my assistant texted, Tokyo transfer complete. You now own 60% of luxury venues in the city. The irony was delicious. While they pitted my career choices, I was literally giving them space to do so, in my own building. The valet parking is so organized, Victoria's maid of honor commented. Your sister's finally found her calling. Mom nodded proudly. We always knew she'd find something suitable. Not everyone can be a successful lawyer like Victoria. I handed another set of keys to my staff, actual valet professionals who knew exactly who signed their generous paychecks. They played along perfectly, treating me like any other temporary worker. Miss Chen, the venue manager whispered during a quiet moment, the board needs your approval on the new property acquisition. Which one? I asked, straightening my valet-appropriate designer suit. The Harrison Building. The one your sister's firm is trying to lease for their expansion. I smiled, remembering Victoria's boast about her firm's upcoming move to the city's most exclusive address. Tell them to proceed, I decided, and increase the proposed lease rates by 10%. Another wave of guests arrived and I returned to my assigned role. Victoria's big day was unfolding perfectly in my venue, under my chandeliers, surrounded by my renovations. The owner must be doing well, I heard Jeffrey tell Victoria. These upgrades must have cost millions. Whoever owns this place clearly knows what they're doing, Victoria agreed, watching me park another car. Unlike some people who waste time on unrealistic business plans. The afternoon sun streamed through the newly installed stained glass windows. Another coincidental upgrade I'd ordered just for Victoria's special day. Each ray of light caught the gold leaf detailing I'd added to the moldings, creating the exact ethereal effect my sister had dreamed of but thought impossible to achieve. The venue's transformation is remarkable, Jeffrey's senior partner mused, handing me his Ferrari keys. We should have invested when that mysterious buyer made the initial offer. Timing is everything, I replied, carefully parking his car next to my collection of luxury vehicles in the private garage. My phone buzzed again. The Tokyo Stock Exchange was opening, and Chen Global Properties shares were soaring. Another text from my assistant. The Harrison Building sellers accepted your terms. You now own your sister's future office space. Victoria's voice carried across the parking area. Alexandra, dear, try to hurry with the cars. The ceremony starts in 2 hours and you still need to change into your bridesmaid dress. The dress she'd chosen was intentionally unflattering, pale yellow, 2 sizes too large. To complement your coloring, she'd said sweetly. What she didn't know was that I'd had Vera Wong personally redesign it, transforming the monstrosity into an elegant creation. Your sister's so good with the guests' cars, Victoria's future mother-in-law commented. Perhaps she could work at Jeffrey's firm's events permanently? We've been trying to guide her towards suitable employment, Mom sighed. After that unfortunate real estate venture failed. The unfortunate venture that now controlled most of the city's premium properties. The same venture that had just acquired their country club last week. Not that they'd received the announcement yet. The venue manager approached again, masterfully playing his role. The owner asked about the fountain timing for the ceremony. Perfect synchronization with the bride's entrance, I instructed, watching Victoria practice her walk on my recently imported Italian marble. Speaking of the owner, Jeffrey's voice drifted over. I hear they're quite the business genius. Built an empire practically overnight. Victoria laughed, adjusting her veil in the antique mirrors I'd sourced from Venice. Probably some old money family. Alexandra tried something similar, you know. Barely managed to secure a single property. If only they knew that single property had been this very building, the cornerstone of my now sprawling empire. Cars are backing up. Victoria called out. Alexandra, focus please. This isn't one of your real estate dreams. Oh, it was better. It was reality, my reality built while they were busy underestimating me. And soon, very soon, they'd all realize just whose building they were standing in. With 1 hour until the ceremony, Victoria's perfectly planned wedding was running like clockwork. In my perfectly renovated venue. I'd just handed off the last guest's keys when Jeffrey's father, a prominent real estate mogul, arrived in his Rolls-Royce. I must meet the owner, he announced to Victoria. These renovations are extraordinary. The marble work alone must have cost millions. The owner's quite private, Victoria assured him, shooting me a warning look as I approached. Alexandra, finish with the cars before you change. And please use the staff entrance. Actually, the venue manager intervened right on cue. The owner's here for the final ceremony inspection. Victoria's face lit up. Perfect. Daddy, you can discuss investment opportunities. Where are they? Jeffrey's father asked eagerly, straightening his tie. The manager smiled, gesturing toward me. You've been speaking with her all afternoon. The silence that followed was worth every minute I'd spent parking cars. That's impossible, Victoria laughed sharply. Alexandra's just helping with parking. She couldn't even secure funding for her first property. That first property, I finally spoke, pulling the venue's documents from my Hermes bag, was the Crystal Palace. Everything you've been admiring, the chandeliers, the marble, the gold leaf, those were my unrealistic renovations. Mom's champagne glass slipped from her fingers, caught smoothly by one of my staff members. But your real estate venture failed, she stammered. No, I corrected gently, you just assumed it did because I stopped discussing it with the family. Chen Global Properties now owns most of the luxury venues in the city. Including, I added with a slight smile, the building your firm is planning to lease, Victoria. Jeffrey's father stepped forward, eyes wide with recognition. You're Alexandra Chen? The Alexandra Chen who outbid us on the Harrison building last week. Victoria's perfect posture crumpled slightly. The Harrison building? Our new office space. Your future landlord, I confirmed. Don't worry, I'll give you the family discount. Only 10% above market rate. Why didn't you tell us? Mom whispered. I tried. Remember my first proposal? The one Victoria's law partners dismissed as unrealistic? The one you suggested I abandon for something more suitable? Jeffrey's father was already on his phone, frantically checking property records. By God. The Wellington Hotel, the Grand Plaza, the Meridian Complex. You own them all. Along with the country club, I added. That acquisition finalizes next week. Victoria's perfect makeup couldn't hide her shock. You let me treat you like staff. At your own venue. I let you have your perfect day, I corrected. Every upgrade you loved. My wedding gift to you. Every detail you praised. My team's work. That owner's suite you've been using. My office. The venue manager approached with a tablet. Miss Chen, Tokyo's calling about the new acquisitions. I should take this, I said, turning to my stunned family. Victoria, the ceremony starts in 40 minutes. The fountain will coordinate perfectly with your entrance, and yes, those are real gold flakes in the water feature. Consider it another wedding gift from your unsuccessful sister. Victoria found me in the owner's suite as I finished my Tokyo call. Her perfect wedding dress rustled against the Italian leather furniture she'd admired earlier. "Why didn't you just tell me?" she asked, sinking into a chair. "All this time while I was being condescending? Treating me like your personal valet?" I smiled, signing off on another property acquisition. "Would you have believed me?" She touched the marble desk, my desk, tracing the veining with a manicured finger. "The renovations, the upgrades, everything I wanted." "I know my sister," I shrugged. "Even when she's belittling my career choices." Tears threatened her carefully applied mascara. "I've been horrible to you." "You've been Victoria," I corrected, checking the ceremony timeline. "But right now you're also a bride who's getting married in 10 minutes. The fountain is timed, the lights are perfect, and yes, I added those crystal butterflies you mentioned wanting last week." She stood, smoothing her dress. "How do you not hate me?" "Because success isn't about proving others wrong," I said, adjusting her veil. "It's about proving yourself right. Now, shall we get you married? I hear the venue is quite exclusive." For the first time in years, Victoria laughed. Really laughed. "My sister, the real estate mogul." "Your sister, the valet parker," I winked. "Now come on. Your wedding awaits."